Hey guys, it's Josh back again with another video. This time we're going to be going through our full setup of our AutoMail product. Clerk.io offers two different email tools. We have auto email and embedded email recommendations. These can both be used in conjunction. For example, Clerk.io's auto email can be used to send the following: triggers that are already not managed in other tools such as abandoned search, our AI-based campaigns that work with our audience tool just like advertising campaigns, reoccurring newsletters, and at the same time you can use our embedded email recommendations to enrich your current email marketing strategy with dynamic personalized recommendations. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set up an integration between Clerk and your email provider. You can find this here on the left hand side under Audience and then Integrations. And when you open it up, it will show your existing integrations. So, example, you can see here that I have Facebook, but we're going to be setting up a new one with MailChimp today. So we're going to click on New Exporter. And we're going to select the relevant one, which is MailChimp. And you can call it internally whatever you would like, but we'd suggest matching it to what it actually is. And as you can see, it shows, but it's red, says it's not configured. We need to insert values and update the exporter. On the actual exporter itself, you can see that it's got the actual setup instructions here. If you follow these, it will take you through the whole process from start to finish. So going to start, you're going to head to the MailChimp backend. In the lower left corner, we're going to access the account and we're going to click Account and Billing. And then Extras and API keys. So we're simply going to scroll down to this part here and select Create a Key. And as you can see, the key is being created at the top here. And we're simply just going to change the label for it. We're simply going to take this API key and head back to the Clerk backend and put it in the corresponding box. As you can see here, the next step is in the side menu and you're going to click on Audience and we're going to go to All Contacts. So we're going to click on Audience, All Contacts, and you're going to take the name here just under the main audience headline and paste it into here. To MailChimp, and we're going to select Manage Contacts and then Groups. Create groups. Don't show these groups in my sign up form. And then the category, you're going to name it anything you want. So I'm just going to name this Clerk Mail Setup. And the first one you have to do as a requirement with MailChimp. So I'm just going to name that anything. And then save. Click Done for now. And you can see it appears here. Then you're going to copy the name and paste that back into your Clerk.io exporter. Click Update Exporter. Once you've successfully completed the integration, you can actually choose which integration you want to sync your subscribers from. Simply go to Email and then Configuration. And under Sync Subscribers, you have a choice of your integrations to choose from, and simply on the right hand side, a little button that turns it on or off, and then you press Update. And once your subscribers are synced, you can head over to Subscribers, and you can check out how many subscribers you have, what's your growth, and any increases or decreases. Feeds with customers can also be used to send us subscribers. You simply just need to look at our developer documentation under data feed specification, and there's a customer section. You just need to make sure that the subscribed option is set to true. You also can track all of your subscribers even if your email client is not supported. Simply head over to our help center and there is an article called Embedding Subscriber Forms on your website, and this will take you through the whole process. Next, we're going to head back to the Clerk.io backend. And we're going to head down to Subscribers under Email and then Lists. As you can see here, we have a couple of lists in here. We're just going to take a new list, call it AutoMail 2, create the list, and you can add all of them here. So if I just put and simply just select the boxes that you want to add. Add 3 subscribers, and you can also remove them from these lists here as well. I should also mention that subscribers can actually be inserted manually just by using an API call. If you want to know more about this, simply head to our developer documentation and our API reference and subscribe. Now that you've integrated your email provider, we're going to head over to email and then configuration, and we're going to go through the settings here and configure your DNS settings so that we're able to send out those emails on your behalf. So within configuration, you can see that we have the sender name, which is the name that will appear when the customers open their email, and obviously the email that it's sent from. And then we have the minimum time between emails for campaigns. We also have the average number of emails to send per day. Obviously, the more emails you send, the more likely you are to convert. Following that, we then have the max amount of emails one recipient can receive per day. We would recommend this to be set at around 4. And then we have the days where the campaign can be sent. This is completely up to you, as maybe you have some kind of marketing strategy in place. Alternatively, you can just set them to every day to keep those customers engaged. Next, we have the minimum time between emails for triggers. And again, the max amount of emails one recipient can receive per day in relation to the triggers that you have set. Moving on from there, we then have sync subscribers, where you can see your integrations, which ones are turned on and off. And then we have the choose email service provider. You have an option of Mailgun or SparkPost. Today I'm going to be using SparkPost. And then we have the DNS settings here at the bottom. Before we go any further, it's worth noting that if you're working from one of our plugins, such as WooCommerce or Magento 2, you're going to want to make sure that the collect basket and collect email is turned on within your backend and you have saved your settings. We also have developer documentation should you be on a custom platform. So you can see here how to collect the basket, and you can see here in our configuration that the collect email needs to be set to true. And this is in order to correctly link the visitor ID to the email, and this will allow the session-based triggers to function as they're meant to. Okay, and heading back to Clerk.io, we're going to configure the DNS settings. As you can see here, it has a little indication as whether it's working or not, the type, the host name, the value you need to enter into your settings, and then a little description of what each one is. To start off with, we're going to start with this top one here. I'm going to head to my provider. Please beware, this is just an example, so yours may be different. Okay, so we can see here that we have a range of records to choose from. We're going to choose TXT. We have the host name, so we're going to go back to Clerk and check that. And we can see that it's just stoop.in, which is already set on the website. So we just need to take this value. As you can hear, stoop.in, value goes in here, and we create a record. And as you can see, it's been added there. We're then going to head back to Clerk.io, and we're going to do the same for this one. However, we can see it's a little bit different on the host name, so we're just going to copy the first part of that, take it across to here, take the entire value here, and paste it into the value box again, and we're going to create record. Next one is the CNAME, and we can just see that it simply says email. So we're going to copy that across, head back to Clerk, SparkPost. I'm just going to go on to the correct part of the record and create record. Now we're going to go back to Clerk.io now that we've done this, and we should refresh the page and it should go green, but however it can take up to an hour. As you can see, this one's turned green, and within an hour or so this one should also be green as well. If after maybe an hour or so this is still not gone green, simply contact our support team and we'll look into it for you. As you're watching this video, it's most likely that this is the first time that you're doing this. Once you set up those details and add them into your relevant provider, you just need to click Check DNS Records. And as you do that, if they're okay, you'll see down here in the bottom left it will say Domain OK. And that's the configuration done. Okay, so when you're done with your email configuration, the next thing you need to do is create some designs so you can make sure you're sending out attractive emails that are on brand, that are going to intrigue your customers enough to bring them back to the site. To get started, you just need to head over to Email, then Designs, and that'll open our design template library, and you can click New Design in the top right hand corner here. And what will happen is our design guide will take you through the setup of the design you want to create. So first of all, you want to select the type of design you want to work with, which is auto email today. I'm going to choose a standard design and then name it. As you can see out of the box, it presents you with a usable design, but it's very likely that you're going to want to change certain things, such as the logo, as that's the first thing your customer's going to see when they open the email, along with font, colours that match your brand on your site. So to start, we're going to head to the logo at the top of the page here. You can work through the design tree on the right hand side, or you can simply click on the element. And you can see here we have an image source section where you can use an attribute, URL, or attribute value. So I'm just going to remove this and enter my own in. And as you can see, my logo has appeared, but we need to change the dimensions a bit so it looks a bit nicer. Okay, there we go. The next thing you're probably going to want to change is the text on your email so that it matches your other emails or the font that's on your website. So again, you're going to want to click on the element. And as you can see here, you can do your basic styling such as bold, italics, underline, changing the size and the colour. However, if that's not enough and you have an entirely different font, you can head to the bottom where we actually have an option for custom CSS. So in here I'm just going to put in my font family and I'm going to be using Arial. I'll be back in just a second as I change the rest of the font in the email. As you can see, I have edited all the text within the email and the email is starting to take shape. The next thing we're probably going to want to change is this buy button. Maybe you want more of an oval shape, so simply again click on the element and you can change the dimensions here. However, I'm going to go down to the custom CSS, and as you can see it changes from a rectangle to an oval. Again, I'm just going to go down to the other buy buttons, click on the element, and we're just going to add more to the custom CSS, and you can see it changes throughout. And that's all there really is to creating a design. Of course, if you want a more elaborate design, it may take a bit longer, but that's all there really is. And finally, to mention, at the bottom, our emails all come with a built-in unsubscribe link. However, if you are working on a code design, then if you head to Managing Subscribers in Clerk.io on our Help Center and head down to Unsubscribing, you can see that here we have some code written ready for you to use in your design. You simply just need to add in your own API keys. It may also be worth mentioning that if you're hosting your subscribers in your provider, such as MailChimp, then you will need to add in your own unsubscribe link into the design. Now that you have a design you're happy with, we're going to create some audiences that we will use later on in campaigns to direct specific recommendations to particular customers. So to access this, you can find it under Audience, then Audiences, and then you're simply going to head over to create a new audience. And the one we're going to be making today is customers who are interested in gloves. So we're going to put okay, so now you have a number of drop downs here where you can change certain aspects of this audience to get a different customer result. So if this one's as simple as typing interested in, and we're going to put gloves. And as you can see, the number at the top will change. So out of 10,000 customers, we have 6,500 who are interested in gloves. You also have access to customer data, behavior, orders, and export. But for this case, because we simply want customers who are interested in gloves, this will do. And then you just need to press Update Audience. Now we're going to head back to our audiences. And you can see here, customers who like gloves. I'm just going to create another one, but for customers that like helmets. As you can see, it gives us the amount of customers that are interested in this product. And as that's all we want to do with this audience, we're going to press Update and head back to Audiences. And we're going to make one final one, which is a little bit different. VIP customers that are slipping away. So with this one, we're going to head to Behavior. and choose the VIP of importance, and the life cycle we want is someone slipping away. Slipping away is also dynamic based on each customer's behaviour. So for example, if you buy one product repeatedly every month and then it's been 2 months, you'll then fall into the category of slipping away. Or for example, if you buy a product every 6 months but it then goes on to be 8 months, you are slipping away. So we're going to head back to our audiences, and you can see in our audience library we have our VIP customers that are slipping away, customers who like gloves, and customers who like helmets. And it is that easy to set up audiences. Now that we're done with our audiences, we're going to set up some campaigns which are going to use those audiences to send out great product recommendations to customers at the right time. Campaigns don't work as customer journey workflows. They're actually much smarter. This is because the user only decides what they want to sell. Then the campaign does the rest. It finds out who should be sent the email and when. If you want any further information on email, you can head to our help centre, and we have an article called Our Email Best Practices which covers everything for you. Now that we're back in Clerk.io, what we're going to do is set up 3 campaigns, and each campaign is going to be using the audience we've previously set up. To get started, you simply need to head to email, then campaigns, and this will open up the campaigns you already have if you have any, and then we're going to click new campaign. As we're going to be using our audience to match up to each campaign, we're going to be calling this one Interested in Buying Gloves. And we're going to go in and edit that. As you can see, we have drop downs here, so we're going to select designs. We're going to select our auto mail design we've already created today. And then on recipients, you can choose your subscriber list or your audience. And we're going to choose the audience that we've already created. So we are going to say customers who like gloves. And the product logic, we're going to choose products based on a keyword. And the keyword in this sense is obviously gloves. We recommend choosing a really attractive subject line so that when your customers get these emails, they know what to expect. So in this case, it would be like, check out our gloves. You also have the ability here of testing your email, so you can just press preview and it shows you what the email will look like before you send it. And obviously, if you're unhappy with anything, you can go back to the design and make some changes. Once you've done that, simply press update, head back to campaign, and you can see there it is. All the campaigns automatically, when they're created, are disabled so that you don't send any unwanted emails accidentally. Next, we're going to do the same but for helmets. So we're going to click new campaign. And we're going to go in again and we're going to edit it. Again, selecting the design we want, the audience we need, and again it's going to be the same product logic, and this time it is helmets. Again, you want to choose a catchy subject line so that your customers know what they're going to be looking at, and this is really important to getting your customers to open in the email. You can preview again if you need, and then update campaign, head back to your campaigns, just make sure it's all there, everything's good. And then for the final one, we're going to be doing something slightly different, which is VIPs slipping away. And again, I'm going to go through the basic setup, choosing the design and the audience. This time I'm going to choose logic, products based on orders. And then with this preview, if you preview this, it will require an email so that obviously it can reference the orders that have been made from that email. When you're done there, press update campaign, and there you can see all the campaigns have been created. They're in your campaign library. Next, we're going to head over to triggers, which is the one below campaign. And we're going to create a new abandoned search trigger. So with abandoned search, if a customer makes a search on your site, but they haven't finalized a purchase and they've been inactive for 45 minutes, they will then receive this abandoned search trigger email, pulling them back to your store to complete the purchase. So it's no difference really from setting up the campaigns, just a load of drop-down boxes. We're going to choose the relevant trigger, so abandoned search. Product logic, it's going to be search a sales-based product search engine or search our sales-driven search engine. Yeah, again, you're going to select your design. And then you're obviously going to want a catchy subject. And once you're happy, again, you just update the trigger, head back to your triggers, and you can see it's there ready for sending out. And of course, to activate it, you can just click on details and turn on this little button here, update the trigger. If we head back to triggers, there you can see it's active. Finally, we're going to go to newsletters. So that's at the top under email. And we're going to create a newsletter. It's the same kind of thing. You're going to choose your design, the audience. This may vary for you, but normally with a newsletter, you're going to send it out for your entire customer base. So I'm going to just keep this as all customers for now. And for logic, I'm just going to choose bestsellers into category. And then you select your category. You're going to choose pads. Again, you're going to want to choose a catchy subject line. And then the amount of products that you'd like to show. And finally, you just want to set your schedule. So if you want it to send every month, you can choose week or month. And then the number will just correspond to the date. So if you want to send it on the 1st of every month, you put a 1. If you want to send it on the 25th, you put 25. You can also choose the time. Again, this is based on a 24-hour clock, so you can just put 10, for example, and that will send at 10 a.m. Once you've finished with that update, head back to your newsletter, and you can see here that it's ready to be sent out to your customers. And that's it. That's the full setup of auto email. If you have any further questions or need any further help, please reach out to our customer success managers, or alternatively, you can reach out to technical support, who will be more than happy to give you a hand.